Willard Carroll Smith Jr., also known as Will Smith, is easily one of the most famous people in the history of entertainment and film. And most famously, at this point, might be known for slapping the absolute fuck out of Chris Rock about 2 years ago on national TV live in front of all his peers and fans. And then 20 minutes later, winning Best Actor award for his role in King Richard. Since then, it's been a very, very, very interesting path for Will Smith. I've always known that this dude would make a comeback, and I knew that it was going to be through music. Now, he just did the new Bad Boys 4, and then he had a movie that came out immediately after, Emancipation. But besides those two films, Will Smith has been just kind of like floating around. Like, you kind of see him pop up here and there. He wasn't doing anything super duper big. But apparently this entire time he has been working on an album and he dropped new music. Now there's a lot to unpack here. There's a lot to unpack with this new Will Smith song and the one he put out a couple weeks ago too. He actually has put out 3 songs over the last 2 months, I think. So he dropped a song for the Bad Boys 4 soundtrack that got completely overlooked. No one mentioned this song. It featured Sean Paul. No one gave a fuck. I didn't give a fuck. Like, I went to go listen to the song and I'm like, okay, this is like the most what you expect from Will Smith rapping with Sean Paul on it. Very dated sound. Kind of have like an international vibe to it. Whatever. And for me, I was like, cool. Like, I bet you this dude's about to drop an album because I feel like in terms of the PR and getting fans back on his side and all that stuff, I feel like dropping an album would be the absolute best way to do it because that's probably the only area of his career that's like not like scrutinized at this point. Like when you look at his love life and his relationship, that's a whole mess. We're not even going to talk about that in this video. You're looking at his acting career. A lot of people think that Will Smith is an overrated actor. I like Will Smith as an actor. I do think that he's kind of one of those actors that plays himself in every single film. There's a couple of exceptions for sure. Like 7 Pounds is a really good role. There's a couple others, but for the most part, Will Smith just be doing Will Smith things in films. And I famously think about how when it comes to Will Smith, he was actually supposed to be, he was first choice for The Matrix and he turned it down. And it's like, imagine if Will Smith did The Matrix. It would be basically Will Smith doing The Matrix. Exactly how you envision that. Like, even when you guys say that, you envision that, right? But yeah, his acting career is scrutinized. His relationship, personal life is scrutinized. The way he raises his children is scrutinized. But we don't really talk about rapper Will Smith. Like, rapper Will Smith is like cherished and beloved for the most part. Like, he's one of the OGs and he won the first rap Grammy. And, you know, he like was like one of those artists that crossed over hip hop into the mainstream to a wider audience. And he sold hundreds of millions of records and Big Willie Styles and all that stuff. So like, you look back at like Will Smith's legacy as a rapper, and it's pretty like well lived. Like, he has dropped some terrible music before, but for me personally, like like Will Smith, like I rock with Will Smith as a rapper, like historically speaking. He falls as a net positive, I guess, because not everything has been great, but most of the stuff that if I look at his career since 1988, whatever, he gets thumbs up. It's kind of like LL Cool J. Like I rock with, he's on the same tier as LL Cool J in my head in terms of like what you've done for the culture, the songs that you put out, and the effort you put into it. I respect you and I rock with you. And as long as you don't do stupid stuff, I'm going to keep rocking with you. So that's kind of how I feel about Will Smith. And I'm always going to check out his new music. But it feels, like I said, it feels like a Hail Mary. It feels like, oh man, I got to get back to a certain level of fame. And I think the best way to do that would be through the music. So we're going to make these songs. He even said in the video for his new song, Work of Art featuring Russ, which we'll talk about here in a second. In the beginning of the video, he's like, oh, I made 20 songs and this is the first one that really like resonated with me. And so he put out a song that he debuted at the BET Awards. I don't remember the exact name. Let me see if I can look it up real quick. He put out a song at the BET Awards that featured like Kirk Franklin and shit. And I'm like, so he's going to go the gospel route or like the spiritual motivational route, which is an interesting route to take for Will Smith because it's like, Yeah, I mean, motivate me. You might as well, right? Because motivate me to not slap people in the face or something like that. The song is called "You Can Make It," and it's a song some like super like I've been through so much and I'm gonna make it happen. I'm rapping and I'm gonna save the day and the struggle is real, but you gotta keep going kind of songs. You know what I'm saying? Like when I first heard it, I'm like, this is like the most generic thing that he could do. And I was like, if this is what he's gonna do for his album, where it's just like, oh, like I've been through so much, look at me now type of music, fine. But Will Smith is also one of the most successful black men in America too. I want to hear about what you would give advice to someone like me, a 40-year-old man trying to still make it happen, I guess, quote unquote. Um, so this new song though, Work of Art. There's a lot of things that I love about this song. The beat is incredible. Like the production is a fire. I mean, that's something that side note. We're gonna go on a little tangent here. The Will Smith family, they're like worth like $1 billion. They have access to literally like the best production in the world. Like Jaden Smith's albums, the production on the albums is absolutely incredible 9 times out of 10. Like some of the best shit that you ever heard just in terms of like quality, production, and just like interesting sounds. Like Jaden Smith's albums are always crazy. I always check out Jaden Smith's projects just for the production because this dude has Will Smith as his dad. And so he's like, yo, I'm going to get like the craziest producers. I'm going to spend like 3 years working on this because I can afford it. And so that's what I think about with Will Smith. Like the production on Work of Art is fire. I love it. The bars go tough. Like, I don't know if he wrote them himself. I think he writes most of his own stuff. Does he? I don't know. Tap in and let me know. But I feel like Will Smith writes most of his own stuff. Nowadays, maybe not because he is older. So he probably would just hire writers. But he goes crazy on this song, man. Like, I like the song a lot. The video is cool. The rollout's been dope. Like, if you've been watching him roll out the song, he did this thing called Car Test where him and Russ are in the car and they listen to the song. It's a cool concept. But we get to Russ. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of Russ, like, overall. I respect Russ. Like, Russ is, like, the modern blueprint for independent artists just grinding to get to a certain level. And his verse on here is impressive, but I just don't check him out. He's just not my type of artist that I would go listen to on a regular basis. No hate towards his music, just not my vibe. But I was pleasantly surprised by his appearance. But the issue is that I have with this is the fact that, first of all, how old is Will Smith? Let's see. Will Smith age. He's 55 years old. He's about to be 56 here. 56 years old. Right? Russ's age, the Russ rapper age, he's 31. So they're over 20 years apart. And so I think about like the demographics of it. Like Will Smith, like you have access to all these producers, you can get literally probably anybody you want on this album, like literally, and they'll probably hop on. And you decide to go with Russ. And so I think about why though. Like, why did he choose Russ? So with the Russ thing, like I said earlier, Russ is one of the most successful independent artists out right now. And he's going to go down as all time because of just how he moves, how he does his thing. He's currently selling out right now on tour, which is impressive because you're seeing all these rappers like not do that right now, canceling their tours and shit. So I almost feel like Will Smith was like, all right, I need to go ahead and like get back into the rap game. I need to go ahead and connect with like the hottest, youngest rapper out or one of the hottest up and coming, whoever, who's selling out right now, who's selling out, show me a list. And he gave him a list of names of people who were selling out tours around the country. And there's probably like 3 names on there. And Russ was probably one of them. And he was probably like, huh? It's kind of similar to when Will Smith worked with Joyner Lucas. But that's a little bit different because Joyner Lucas was already friends with Jaden Smith. And then they made that Will Smith song basically asking Will Smith to like hop on a track with him. But Will Smith reaching out to Russ is almost like, I need to hold on to my hip hop identity. So I'm going to latch myself onto whoever's hot right now. Instead of like going within and like really building my own story. And I said the album's not even out yet. We don't know anything about this album. I'm just basing this all off of speculation of how he's approaching this from a man who slapped Chris Rock in the face 2 years ago and has to bounce back. He has to like basically go to a tier, a generation's couple of notches. I would say Russ is on the back end of like the J. Cole, Drake, and Kendrick generation in terms of generational things. He's like the youngest of that generation. He's like the crossover artist to the younger generation. So he's a good choice for that. But Will Smith made a choice because he's like, I need to reach a new audience. I need the beat to sound more modern and crazy. Like I can't be rapping over these boom baps, old school or international beats like Miami. I can't be doing that. I need the hottest shit out. And I need to rap on it. And he basically said that himself in the video where he's just like, oh well, yeah, I recorded 20 songs. I want to hear them 20 songs, Will Smith. I really wanted to hear. I want to hear like what you were actually trying to do with your album with those 20 songs that you scrapped and then you basically started over. I guess I'm assuming. And now it's going to have this more modern sound. Like LL Cool J, it's funny, I brought him up earlier, did the same damn thing. LL Cool J had a whole entire album that he scrapped. And then he just did a whole another album, I guess, with Q-Tip and dropped that first single. And the first single sounds like he just made an album just on the fly. We're not talking about LL Cool J, though. We're talking about Will Smith. Will Smith is doing something similar. Now, I actually like the song. I actually like Work of Art a lot. I think Work of Art is actually probably one of my favorite songs of the year so far. Like, if I made a top 10 list of songs that came out in 2024 so far, I would actually put Work of Art probably at 10 or 11. Dead ass right now. I love the song, but it just feels so constructed. It feels so contrived. It feels so corporate, I guess is actually the word that I was actually trying to land on, because now I'm realizing that this song and the way that it's structured and who's on it and all that is going to be all over the commercials. It's going to be commercials, TV shows, sync licensing everywhere because it's that type of song. I'm a work of art. I'm saying that's an Apple commercial. You know what I'm saying? Like, so get your money, Will Smith, but I'm still not sold on the fact that you have found your voice. You say that you have, but I feel like it's not the voice that we need from a man who did the things that he did recently. Like, your first single should have been not like an apology to Chris Rock, but you should have been addressing those issues. That would have been like the GOAT level rap shit that a GOAT level rapper would have done. Their album or their theme of the album or whatever would have probably addressed the issues that have been going on in their life. Jay-Z has done that. Kendrick has done that. Fucking Eminem has done that. Dr. Dre has done that. Like, when you actually look at the greatest rappers of all time and like what they do, like Nas has done that. You look at the greatest rappers of all time and you look at what they actually do with their music and then use it as a vessel and a way to tell their stories genuinely to the audience that needs to hear it. I'm not feeling that from Will Smith on this song. I like the song. I think that everything about the song is perfect, but it's like too perfect. Where are the flaws that make Will Smith Will Smith? I feel like this is a very studio-ized thing. But I'm done with my little Will Smith rant. What did you guys think of Work of Art? Like I said, I think the song is dope. What do you think about Will Smith dropping a new album? Is this enough for us to forget about the slap? No, probably not. But A for effort, I guess. I'll talk to you guys later. I got a lot of work to do. As you can see, I got a bunch of crap back here moving around. But I love you guys. Stay safe. Wash your hands. Drink more water.